Every weekday morning in Mumbai, 5,000 lunch deliverymen go to work, taking hundreds of thousands of home-cooked meals from the suburbs to workers in the city centre. The Dabawallas, as they're known, are semi-literate, but achieve a loss rate of only 1 in a million, using a system that business magazine Forbes ranked in efficiency in the same category as high-tech companies like Motorola.
The code is unique but very simple. When somebody new joins us, it takes about 15 days for them to be trained, and then they know which station to take this to and which office to deliver it to.
It's a testament to Indian ingenuity, but at its core the business is a workaround, adapting to the often failing colonial and early post-colonial infrastructure that is a feature of much of the subcontinent.
One of the major challenges which India needs to overcome is to have a realistic assessment of where they're heading. I mean, it's all well and good for us to say that we're going to catch up to China, but that requires meaningful planning, meaningful integration between a lot of different agencies.
India is raising its investment from 4 to 9% of national income, ploughing $1 trillion into infrastructure from now until 2017. The money is being spent to transform places like New Delhi, home to over 11 million registered vehicles, more than all other Indian cities combined. The region loses nearly 420 million man-hours every month due to traffic congestion.
It's a good thing to get people off the road and into a mass transit system, especially because you can reduce emissions, not only CO2 emissions, but also pollutant emissions, and you can reduce your dependency on oil.
So, the Delhi Metro. Rapidly becoming a landmark, it's single-handedly trying to transport this 1,000-year-old city into the 21st century. It already carries 1.5 million people every day, is still expanding, and the aim is to double its size in the next decade.
The Delhi Metro itself will be bigger than the London Underground, and we would have done about close to 419 kilometers with billions of dollars of investment. That would take care only again of a part of Delhi's problems, because Delhi as a huge metropolis and with growing numbers coming in every day, the challenge of urbanization in Delhi and the challenge of urbanization in our large cities is huge.
Another huge project will create 15,000 kilometres of new roads and highways at an estimated cost of $30 billion. However, while this may be great for people in the big cities, 90% of Indians live in villages or towns of less than 200,000 people, far from the great new highways.
There's a tendency to the big and the glamorous infrastructure projects that lend themselves to ministerial visits and cutting ribbons on new highways and Commonwealth Games, these big, exciting, flashy infrastructure projects, rather than making a rural road passable in wet weather conditions. You know, the boring, low-key, small-scale infrastructure, but nevertheless makes a big difference to the lives of ordinary people.
That said, the project has made a real difference to many rural Indians, especially farmers. It's estimated that 25% of perishable goods rot because bad roads stop produce getting to market on time.
There is a lot of progress. There are national highways here. Earlier we had problems transporting our produce. Now there is no problem at all, and we're benefiting from this progress. We're getting very good rates for our potato crop.
However, as always, there is dissent. While many farmers feel the benefit of the new road network, others are protesting against their land being acquired for infrastructure projects and the government's acquisition policies.
So what if they are making roads? It's not going to feed us. Inflation is so high that we can't afford to feed ourselves.
It's very difficult to build roads in India because property rights are so complicated. It can take a long time in the courts to widen, acquire the property to widen roads, or to buy the farmland, reallocate farmland to road building purposes. So it is a very, very slow, long process.
But at the end of that process, if the government wins, they have a right to make a compulsory purchase. Rajesh Devi was given $6,500 for her land, but says that without the ability to farm, it's the only livelihood she knows, her family face starvation.
We are all affected, women and children too. When our land is taken from us, how will we farmers feed our families? And the compensation was too little.
There may be resentment and legal wrangling, and bureaucracy might hold up the development of roads, where the country's great rival China can move much faster. But it is also a signal of one of India's great strengths, and notably lacking in its main competitor.
In the long run, in order to sustain growth, one needs an independent judiciary, one needs protection of private property rights, one needs a vibrant civil society, and India already has those things. Very difficult to create, but however creakily functioning they are, India has them. But China has the daunting task of trying to create those institutions, removing the legal system, property rights from its communist legacy, the Communist Party. And so even if China has raced ahead in the last 30 years, many would argue, would agree, in the next 50 years, perhaps India is going to overtake China.
More and more people are beginning to believe that the world's biggest democracy may, after all, be playing a successful long game.